If you're sitting down to write content and the first thing that comes to your mind is how do I get someone to buy, can almost guarantee that whatever you're about to write, whether it's an email, a sales page, piece of content, it is not going to attract or do the thing and get the engagement that you want it to. And in this episode, I'm going to show you why that is, break it all down for you, and show you how you can actually show up with your authentic expression without feeling like this forced, how do I get people to buy and actually make good content? Hey, I am Rachel, and I am a human design and messaging expert. On this channel, I love to talk about all things human design, messaging, online marketing, honestly, just being your authentic version of you, the version of you that shows up in client calls, the version of you that sits at the kitchen table and talks with your friend, the version of you that is just you, your unique self, without being this performative authority that has to show up a certain way or be a certain way. Your most magnetic self is you. Okay, so I wanted to make this episode because it's been a conversation with several people lately around their mindset when they sit down to write content. Now, I get it. Like, content for me is a little bit of a love-hate relationship. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I don't. It depends on the platform. Like, there's a lot of variables that go into content. And we are constantly inundated with everyone telling us, these are the hooks to use. Here's my 5-step process to blah, blah, blah. Or like, we're inundated with people telling us how to market our business. And that's good and all. I mean, I do that. I write content about how to market your business. It's not inherently bad. What ends up happening, though, that is the thing that causes you to sit down and go, how do I make someone buy? Is that we think that there's one way to do it. Someone has some secret sauce thing, some key that unlocks the Pandora's box, and suddenly we like have all of the answers, and all of our content is gloriously getting millions of views, and our offers are like filling the second we open the doors. It's not how entrepreneurship works, and it's also not how magnetism works. It's not how we attract the people that are truly meant to work with us. When we show up in a version of someone else, and I want to get really specific on this so you can get what our conversations have been behind the scenes lately with business besties, clients. I realized about 6 months ago that I had kind of created a Frankenstein business, in that I was doing things that I thought were sacral led in the moment. They felt like, yes, I want to create that. But looking back, it was more, well, a coach had said, this is really what sells. Or I bought a strategy course that showed you how to do a certain strategy. So I was like, okay, I'm going to implement that. And I had so many different freebies, 27 different offers, several built out funnels, and offers that all kind of worked, but they didn't work together. They kind of worked, but they weren't going to scale. It was all very discombobulated. And this creation that I created was because I was looking outside of myself for what worked for other people, instead of going inward and going, what do I actually want to create? How do I actually want to show up? And this is a lot of what my work is showing you where you are showing up out of obligation, out of a should, out of a, this is how someone told me works, versus how do you actually want to show up? What is the business that is truly aligned for you? And most people, when you start recreating content and that's the first thing that you think is, how can I make someone buy? You will end up creating from your conditioning, a shadow, from a place of forcing. And this is why your content feels forced, is because you're asking the wrong questions before you even sit down. Okay. Maybe you're like thinking a better hook will do it. Or maybe if I use trending audio or whatever the tactic is that you think is going to work, it's not going to actually create the engagement, the audience, the growth, the impact, the sales that you are deeply desiring. The only thing that will do that is you showing up as yourself, sharing what you're really excited to share, the offers that you're really lit up and know are your zone of genius, that's when things start to click in place. And that's honestly when content creation becomes playful and fun and not like you're pulling teeth all the time. So there are 4 signs of that you're marketing against how your human design, well, let me back up. I didn't talk about that. Your human design is this blueprint, right? It is a blueprint to how your energy works. When you are in alignment with this energetic blueprint, things flow more easily. I'm not saying you won't have challenges. You may. I mean, life is a challenge. Can be. So it's not that life is challenge free, it's that you are drawing things to you, allowing you to decide what direction you want to go. Life feels more like it's in flow. You know, those moments when everything feels like it's just coming at just the right time and it feels like it's flowing and there's an easiness to it. That's what I'm talking about. When we are in alignment with how our energy naturally flows within us, that's when life gets fun. That's when life gets easier. Human design is that blueprint. So in the human design system, the throat center, the third one down, is the epicenter for expression. Obviously, the throat chakra is your expression. It's how you talk, how you express your ideas and your thoughts and your feelings. That is how we get our impact, how we sell things, how we grow the business, all of those things. So if your throat center is not in alignment the way that you are expressing yourself, it will show up in very distinct ways. And I can tell almost instantly from when I ask someone like, what's feeling sticky in your messaging, what's going on, it comes back to one of these 4 things. And it's okay, let's just dive in. So the first one is that, again, you're starting with, how do I get someone to buy? I can't tell you how many people will come in and be like, I'm writing content and just no one's buying. How do I get people to buy? Asking that question, I've asked that question. So no qualms to like you asking that question. It's just not the question to get you in alignment with your authentic expression. It is going to cause you to go, okay, so if you think about it, how do I get people to buy? Your first thought is going to be, well, what do they need to hear? What do they need to understand? What do they need to believe? And some of that is helpful, understanding who your ideal client is. But if you're only using that as your baseline for creating your message, you're going to feel like you're putting on a performance. You're like just selling something to sell something. And I can guarantee you that if you're in this space and you're somewhat even a little bit spiritual, a little bit into self-development, that feels really icky. That feels so, it feels you don't want to do it. You don't even want to go there because you want to show up as your authentic self. You want to be you and not feel like you have to put on some type of personality in order to sell, right? So asking that question, how do I get people to buy, is going to take you down a road that is not your voice. Instead, you should be asking, what am I here to say today? What is something that I know my person needs to hear right now? That is a much better place to start. Number 1, you're still serving your ideal client. And number 2, it gets you into your own way of expressing, your own way of showing up. The second one is if your content sounds like everyone else. This one I see a lot with people that have gone all in on someone else's strategy. Maybe it's a health practitioner or whatever. Like they've bought someone else's strategy on selling and now they do it to a T because most people in my audience, like we're really good at following instructions. We're really good at doing the thing, but it sounds nothing like them. And the reason that that person is now selling a strategy is because they found a way to express themselves naturally in the way that they felt comfortable and easeful and confident. And it worked because they were confident and convicted in it. And now they're selling it to other people. And while it may work for a little while, you'll hit a point where you're like, this isn't me anymore. This is like a fraction of what I actually do with clients. My work has so much more depth to it than anything I'm writing in my content. I feel bored with my content. I don't want to do it, right? Because you're not giving yourself that permission to really show up as yourself. And these are the people that I find are defined throats that aren't utilizing their channel. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So instead of like following someone's step-by-step thing straight to the T, again, going, what actually what do I actually want to say? What is something that no one else is talking about that I feel very, very convicted in, very confident in saying, we're getting this wrong. The third thing is you're exhausted after creating your content. So again, that love-hate relationship with content, how can we get to the end of content creation and not hate it? Usually, if you are in this boat, you're like, I just need to take a step back. I need to take a break. I don't want to be on social media. And well, yes, that can be absolutely helpful. I am all for taking a social media break. If you're exhausted from creating your content, that there's a disconnect in how you're showing up, how you're expressing yourself. It could be the platform you're on. It could be the way you're doing it. It could be the offers. There's a lot of things that it could be. But if you are exhausted from creating your content, you are not showing up as your full authentic expression. You are capping it and your body is telling you, hey, this sucks. I don't want to do it this way. And so it's exhausted, right? So if that's you, then it's taking that step back and going, actually, is the way that I'm showing up the way that I want to? Do I want to be on this platform? Would I rather do something else? And I want to say, there is an infinite number of ways to market your business. You do not have to be on Instagram to grow your business. Are people doing it? Absolutely. Do you have to? No, you don't. There are infinite number of ways of being visible, selling your offers, and growing your business that don't have anything to do with Instagram. So really asking those deeper questions, is the way that I'm doing, the platform that I'm on, the way that I want to be visible, does that feel good? Or is there something in there that I'm like forcing myself? And I want to give this as a caveat because I've experienced this myself. So Instagram has been it's not my favorite place to show up. I would much rather show up in email or here. Like Instagram's Instagram, right? But if I spend a lot of time scrolling through Instagram, I see a lot of content about, growing on Instagram and going viral and getting your audience and da 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 da. And it starts to make me think I need to grow on Instagram. Right? Like there's so much business here. There's so much opportunity. And there is. However, is it correct for me? Is it in alignment for me? And I had to be so radically honest with myself that that was actually not the place that I wanted to grow. I can be there, sure, and create content, but and here's a test to know if you're really committed. Any strategy is going to take a considerable amount of content creation or work tweaking, right? So even if it's email marketing, it's going to take time to figure out how to get people on the email list, what works in converting those people to paying offers, and how do you talk to them, right? There's some work in that. There's work on YouTube and growing the channel and how much are you showing up consistently. Instagram is the same. If you really want to grow on Instagram, I think you do have to show up a lot. I follow someone that does I think she said 50 trial reels in a week. I wanted to poke my eyes out when she said that. I was like, are you kidding me? She makes it sound so easy. And maybe it is for her. And maybe it is for other people, certain people. But I wanted to throw daggers in my eyes. Why on earth would I go, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to be consistent. It's not going to work. The energy is going to be totally off. The trial reels will not perform the way they do for her because I have a visceral, heck no response to that. I'm not going to do that. Could I? Sure. Do I want to? No. So just something to keep in mind if you're feeling that exhaustedness in creating your content. The fourth one is constantly second guessing yourself. And this can look like second guessing before you post or second guessing after, right? So it could be you're writing the content and you procrastinate on actually posting it because you're worried it's not right or doesn't have the right hook or whatever, or could be better, blah, blah, blah. Or you post it and then are so obsessed with, did it do well? How many people liked it? Did it get any reach? What if it didn't? What does that mean? And you're just kind of fixated on what is going on with that one piece of content. Content is like a balloon. One piece of content isn't going to do it. It is the effect of all of it. So knowing that, don't second guess yourself on one single piece of content. It doesn't matter. Post it, let it go, go back, and then eventually look at the stats and take stock and, okay, that one worked and that one didn't, or that one really resonated with people and this one didn't. It's all just data. The more that you can just look at it as a big picture, step back, whole, and as data, the healthier and more relaxed you are going to be and not so analytical and beating yourself up, second guessing yourself around each piece of content. Okay. All right. Now, I want to break this even more into the human design aspect of this and how I want you to start thinking about your expression, the showing up in these on your different platforms and being visible because the throat center is so important. It is the first thing that I look at when I look at someone's chart because it tells me so much about what you're going to struggle with and how you really should be showing up and whether or not you're doing that in your website, offers, content, marketing. And there's the defined throat, so that's colored in, and there's the undefined throat that is white. Okay. They operate slightly differently and they feel different depending on which one you have. If you are a defined throat, there's a confidence in the way that you speak. I have a defined throat. I feel like I've never really struggled to be heard. Someone may not like what I have to say, but I don't feel like I struggle to be heard, right? Where an undefined person with it's white, feels a lot like no one's really hearing them. My husband has an undefined throat and he can definitely feel this way. He feels like his thoughts and ideas get passed over and then this person next to him will say the same thing and they'll take the credit for it. They can oftentimes feel very invisible online, feel like they're shouting into a void and no one is listening. Okay. That is the difference. Okay. I want to break down each one so you can start to understand the differences between the two. But if you're interested in doing and exploring this more, my Athena app does this so beautifully. She breaks it all down for you and helps you show up with your energetic blueprint. She is a genius at taking your human design, what you do, and then helping clarify your message in a way that creates a category of one. Like you are the unique person that you are, and she's going to position your offers and your messaging and your unique USP, all of it according to your human design. So the link for her is down below. But with the defined throat, the consistency, right? You have a channel or channels, you can have more than one, that connect to another center in your chart. It could be the ajna, spleen, G center, will center, solar plexus, or sacral. They're connected to another center and they all have a flavor. Each of those channels has a different flavor. It has a different way of communicating, wanting to show up, and it's a very consistent way for you to speak. I have the 1648, which is enthusiasm and mastery. With this channel, the things that I find fascinating, passionate about, that I'm enthusiastic about. When I'm talking about those, like that's when people are like, you just, your eyes light up. You're so excited. It's this channel. It's when I'm talking about the things that I've mastered, the things that I am deep diving in and really deeply understand. That's when I can like really hook people in. That's that channel. Now, converse that to say the 3536 channel that goes to the solar plexus. That is a storytelling channel. That is all about experiences and experiencing things for the sake of it. It's very emotional in sharing what is going on in your life, both the past, present, and what you hope to in the future, what you hope to experience. Very different, right? Yes, they can overlap. Sure, I can talk about my experience, but it comes from a very different energy than somebody with a 3536. Just like if you have the 3536 and you're not storytelling, I can guarantee you that your message feels constricted. It's not performing the way that you want. And you're probably not sharing the stories that like are sitting just underneath the surface. You're like, I kind of want to share it, but I don't know. Maybe people won't like it or they won't resonate or what stories do. And you're kind of getting up in your head potentially a little bit about it. But that channel, if you have that channel, understanding that sharing your experiences, storytelling, connecting to emotions is what sells. That's how you sell your offers is through that lens. Okay. There's so many. I don't want to break them all down because it's a lot, but go and look at, and you can Google it. You can ask AI. Generally, the way that I have programmed Athena AI though is through my lens, how I look at human design, how I break all of these different pieces down with accuracy working with clients. Okay. AI is kind of like it's guessing and throwing a dart. Sometimes it gets it right. Sometimes it doesn't. So just a caveat with using AI to decipher some of these things, it can be helpful. But if you're looking to really really understand and use these channels, Athena AI is your girl. Undefined throats. Let's talk about you. Because undefined throats, feeling that, you're talking to the void, no one's really listening, it's because you are absorbing the energy of others in the throat and then amplifying it back out. So you don't have a consistent voice per se. Okay. It depends on who you're talking to, right? And you probably have noticed this within yourself that talking to one client, you're speaking one way, and talking to another client, you're speaking another way. And it kind of bounces around. And you don't really, it's hard to nail in a consistent brand voice. And I want to say that that's very, very point for you. And it's okay. It's okay to talk one way over here and talk another way over here. Keeping the ideas generally the same is the key concept with this. And the other piece that can be really, really helpful for an undefined throat is knowing your ideal client and what they are specifically saying, because you are here to make others feel seen and heard, right? Ironically, you want to be seen and heard. They want to be seen and heard. And the way that you can make them feel seen and heard is by listening to them, listening to what they have to say, and then repeating back what you hear, what they're saying. I hear you saying this. Here's how that affects blah, 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 right? Repeating back their words. That will make them go, gosh, you totally get it. You understand me in such a deep way. Again, this is getting really specific on who your ideal client is. The biggest trip I see with my clients that are undefined throats is not defining their ideal client enough. They're vague in who they are speaking to. They're more in the like, well, I really want to offer embodiment and that's great. But how is this, who and how is this helping someone, right? Really dialing in your ideal client. Athena AI also, she does that too. She'll help you dial in who you're speaking to, what they're actually saying. So understanding your ideal client as an undefined throat is probably the most important piece of your messaging if you have an undefined throat. So do you start to see how your own energetic blueprint affects the way that you show up and express yourself? It's not just pain point marketing. It's not just a transformation. It's not just sharing stories. It is the way that you are actually meant to show up. And it's different for every person. It's different for you compared to me. This is why templates don't work for everyone. It's why you can get the 7 figures, whatever templates and guides, and they don't really work that well. Like you're like, I didn't make it 7 figures. She did, but why can't I? And it's because that's what worked for her. That's what worked with her authentic energy, her expression. She trusted herself, she trusted her expression, and she went for it. That's what I want for you. I want you trusting your expression. I want you trusting your voice and showing up and sharing the way that you're meant to. So I hope this was helpful. Drop a comment below if you're defined or undefined. But this is all the work that I do, is really helping you understand how you want to show up in a way that not only makes life and marketing and business so much easier, but also like you sell and you profit and you make an impact. That's the whole point, right? So we'll see you next week.
Your voice is the portal, not the plan, not the